What's an essential childhood experience that you missed out on? I went to 4th grade at a school that did sex ed in 5th grade. Then I went to 5th grade at a school that did sex ed in 4th grade. Had to work it out on my own. Happened to me only at 6th, 7th. I was pretty much in the dark until a bit later. Thankfully the internet came along at about the right time to fix things. I've never broken a bone. All my friends got to but I missed out. At 19, I finally broke a bone. It was my pinky toe. I grew up in a street without another family with children around my age. I also don't have friends I have been friends with since childhood. Not sure about essential, but I never went camping. It seems like something that was fairly common for kids. Me either. My parents hated the outdoors. I go as an adult now sometimes and love it. Laser tag birthday parties. This one makes me very sad. Do it now. You're never too old to have a go-kart laser tag birthday party. Christmas, Halloween, birthdays, having friends at school, playing sports at school, or any extracurricular activity. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. Being poor and from a broken home, I never went on any vacations either. It was a fun childhood. Fun like Ebola. I've never been to Disneyland. I don't know how to ride a bike. Yo, I can't ride a bike either. The thing that gets my goat though is my parents give me crap about it. I always respond with yeah, it's a shame nobody taught me growing up. But every time bikes come up I get called out on it. Growing up without a childhood pet, I've always wanted a dog. Any type. A rescue would have been great. My mother got bit on her ass by a dog during a newspaper delivery run when she was a kid. All I had was a goldfish that ate its own poop. Stupid ass. Floyd. Getting ice cream from the ice cream truck. For whatever reason, we lived in an area where they never drove by, but in the rare instance my family came across one. Everything contained traces of nuts, even popsicles, and my parents would never let me have some. For good reason. I could have died. Still sucked though. I don't know if it's essential, but at the very least, it's a summer ritual I have yet to experience. I have an ice cream truck that speeds by but never stops here. It sucks. I've never been trick-or-treating or carved a pumpkin. My family wasn't into Halloween, but I really would have liked to. Apparently my childhood is void because I didn't play Pokemon. Same. My generation is obsessed but I never had anything to do with Pokemon. Recreational sports. As a kid I preferred spending my time inside playing video games. In high school my interest in sports finally blossomed and I couldn't play anything because I didn't know how, wasn't in shape. Most of my friends did though, and I always thought the camaraderie and teamwork aspect was really cool. I wish my parents forced me to play sports as a kid. Pretty much everything with my dad. Playing ball, first day of school, learning to ride my bike, etc. It's not that huge of a deal, but I'm always sad when people talk about stuff like that. Joining the Boy Scouts, just not as big with our generation. I missed out on the whole let's get into trouble phase. I never really saw the appeal and I'm kinda glad I never got into it. Just don't have a midlife crisis and rob a bank while high on crystal M. I never really got to know my grandparents. They passed away when I was between 2 to 5 years old. Learning to drive, having a boyfriend, going to prom, a sweet 16 or quinceanera. My sweet 16 was a surprise and my mom put my boyfriend and best friend of the time in charge of the guest list and I wasn't friends with anyone that showed up. Having a bad girl phase. I had plenty of opportunities to throw parties or have boys over or steal wine or do drugs, but I didn't do any of it because I knew my mother would be disappointed with me or because I was too busy with sports and clubs to get into trouble. I can even remember a specific incident where one of my friends literally asked, "Do you want to smoke weed at my house today?" and I said I couldn't because I had a student council meeting and then crew practice. Haha, I didn't do crap like that until I was 18 and out of high school. Like you, I had opportunities, but I just didn't want to do it for whatever reason. I guess in a way I'm glad, because I never got into trouble, but I've always had issues with the whole live a little mentality, and that kind of annoys me. Having a sibling to confide in or get me in or out of trouble. I was Still am, I guess, an only child. While I enjoyed it for the most part, I do sometimes feel as though I was missing out. So many friends talk about their childhood adventures with their siblings, and while I had friends as a kid, I missed out on that type of relationship. I never had a dad. Father's Day craft activities at school were always a struggle. Having a first kiss, holding hands with a girl that I like or liked, that sort of thing. I've been bothered by that for a long time. Masturbated whenever I'd like to. My super Christian mother kept me in total oblivion. No sexual education at all, except of horrors that await me in heck for touching myself or look at naked women. All of the pain I endured those years, when my junk was on fire, and sometimes I did masturbate. I had terrible soul self-torture after that. I didn't know the difference between boys and girls till 11 plus age. Now I have an erectile dysfunction and can't perform without help of Viagra, in most cases. I didn't do it until I was a junior in high school, for the same reasons. I was pretty much like Butters, from South Park, for much of my young life. I don't know if it's essential, but having a treehouse. Always wanted one but never had the opportunity. Friends. I still don't have friends. They always leave or taken away from me. Family vacations. My family never left our immediate area to do something fun ever. No ski trips, no Disney, no sightseeing. No worries though, I'm doing all of that as an adult and life is good. Parents that actually cared. It really fricked me up. Same here. My father was absent and mother didn't like me. My grandmother raised me my first 5 years so there was no bonding, and when she got me back I was just a pain in her ass. I never had a locker in junior high or high school. I wanted one so bad but had to carry all my crap everywhere. Going to sleepovers and hanging out with friends outside of school. My parents were super overprotective and never let me go out until I was almost done with high school. You can still have sleepovers, you know. Actually, do it now. Call up your friends and have a great sleepover. Don't leave it to the end. Learning about sex in a natural way rather than from perverted pornographic websites. When I have kids I know I'm going to catch them in a gimp suit and a riding crop. All of it. I played RuneScape. Going to summer camp. My parents couldn't afford it but all my friends' parents could. Apparently a lot of TV shows and trends that every 90s kid has to know according to the internet, because a lot of them never reached my country. For example, I never really understood Neopets because the site wasn't fully translated into German back then. Sexual escapades in high school. Didn't have sex until 20. The story of Santa was prefaced with "now this isn't true. It's just something we tell kids." I never got to believe in Santa, the Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny. All of my friends did, but it was yet another thing to make me weird and different. I lost out on that magic and being able to relate that story of when you found out. Summers. Having parents that are divorced basically ruined my summers. I was shipped off to my dad's a couple of states away every summer. Basically all my friends at home got to do fun things like going on camping trips and having fun at the pool. I was at my father's with no friends and nothing to do when he would be at work all day. He never understood that it is very hard to make friends that you would only see 3 months out of the year, so I never had friends there. This only stopped when I picked up a job and didn't have to go to see him. What I learned is that I will never take a summer away from my kids. Summers are important for children and friendships. Dating. I didn't leave Ireland till I was 15. I've never been to Disneyland. I've never seen The Lion King, Cinderella, Snow White or The Little Mermaid. I can't ride a bike. You can change 4 of those before you go to bed tonight. Never too old, never too manly. My childhood was ripped away by my abusive mother. I never had a birthday party. At a very young age I was forced to babysit my younger siblings late at night. I'm talking I was 8 watching over a 3-year-old and a newborn. Mum wouldn't let me do any fun stuff at school such as play sports, do science fairs or anything like that. We moved all the time. I lost track of how many times I was the new kid, so I never developed lasting friendships. Nobody taught me to swim or ride a bike. Never had one of those moments with a parent, like the awkward sex talk or a bonding over a first crush. I'll tell you, I was heartbroken over this for years. I'm pushing 30 now and I've come to terms with a lot. I've met my father and 2 hilarious siblings, but every so often, someone will share a random story from their childhood, and man, it just stings. A proper dad. All of them. Never had a sleepover or even been to a party. Never been camping or had a GF. Getting a nosebleed. I felt like every kid in my class had it either because of weather, health or fights. Having siblings. Breaking a bone. Being friends with neighboring kids since we moved around heaps. Having a dad. I never got to play spin the bottle or such games. I always saw it happening in movies, etc. Did get to play a drunken version of it in my first year at university. I never got in a fist fight. It seems crucial for boys to spar it out at least once. I think it probably makes you less intimidated as an adult. As an adult I back down to physical confrontation to a point that's embarrassing. Better to not fight as an adult. It's a great way to end up in jail. But if you want the feeling of being in a fight, head down to your nearest boxing or MMA gym, throw on some gloves, and spar there. It's much safer than a street fight and you may even like it. Braces. In a weird way I kinda wanted them. Learning to drive. Parties. Having a boyfriend. Having friends. Having parents that gave me a curfew, cared where I was. Having a father who threatened boys who wanted to date me. Having a cool older brother that had my back. Having a childhood. This is a money dog. Upvote in the next 24 hours and money will come your way. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video. Or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.